Hello and welcome to another day of hydration elevation. We are going into day 3. What are you noticing? It's so important to make note, to allow yourself to become aware so that then you can make decisions based on that awareness. They might be decisions that affirm what you are doing. They might be decisions that help you to know that, oh, you know what, this is not quite aligning with my goal. Therefore, what can I do? How can I shift this? And so part of that awareness that today's piece of the challenge deals with is tracking. So I have always been somebody that, like, maybe one of my skill sets, I don't know if this is connecting the dots. I love connecting the dots. And so I've always had this like innate curiosity to see, how does this connect with this? And it's easier for me to do that with something outside of myself than it is inside of myself. But on my own personal growth journey, of course, that other piece, I couldn't deny it any longer, that I get to follow myself. I get to become more aware of myself. I get to become more aware of my thoughts and my behaviors and my feelings and all of this so that I can evaluate. I can take stock and again make choices. So, one of the things that I do in my Nourish You program is take this scientific approach with a soulful, heart-centered feeling, which I know that you all are. You are all a mix of that. And so, this idea of collecting some data, and the data gets to be completely neutral. It's just like, oh, what is this? Just like a scientist in the lab, recording numbers often, right? And so we get to take that approach through tracking. And then once you have done some tracking, then that soulful part gets to come in and work with that and integrate that information for your own life and your own lifestyle. So, what I did since a lot of my life without really realizing it, this is what I have done in order to get myself to anywhere that I want to be. First of all, there has to be that awareness and then that clarity. And then, um, not only that, I get to follow myself. When I was taking Nia trainings, Nia is a fusion of yoga, dance, and martial arts. Um, there, one of the principles in the black belt level was about stalking yourself. And I know we have this connotation with that word stalking that is like, "Ugh," but to stalk is just, to follow quietly, right? And so getting to be that observer of yourself when you track. And so when I had the opportunity, I'd always wanted to write a book. And then when I had the opportunity to join a program where we got to have accountability and support with writing a book, I started with something that um, I could envision myself doing a little quicker, a little sooner than a full on, full content book. And so that's how Energize Your Life came to be. And it's got places in here about tracking things that I feel like are very fundamental to everything. No matter if we are wanting to build wealth, if we are wanting to build health, if we are wanting to build better relationships, if we are wanting to build our business, things like food, mood, energy, successes, paying attention to our sleep, our water, our movement habits, giving ourselves fresh air, all of that. And so this book is set up in 7-day cycles where you get to track and then you get to take stock and you get to reflect before you move on to the next week. And you even get to do that daily. So of course, I will drop the link in this video if this is something that you are interested in. If not, you don't have to use this tracker. I would just love to hear what you come up with for you. What works? Because what I have found is I am not honest with myself. I am not transparent with myself if I'm not tracking. And you could say, right, the same goes for our bank account. If we're not actually looking at numbers, we, I mean, it's a shot in the dark, right? So again, going back to making decisions, can I make this big purchase right now based on what's in my account and things like that? So same way with keeping track of things like water, for example, which is what we're doing this week. And I used to always think that I was getting enough water. I had a water bottle at my desk. I, I drank tea, I drank coffee, you know, I'm hydrating all day long, is what I was telling myself. And there was truth to that. It's not like I was completely off base, but I had no idea how off my numbers were until I started tracking. So tracking is like a transparency for me, an honesty. And I've heard this idea about how honesty and consistency actually really they go together. And I think that is true. And so when I track, especially if it's something that I want to get some traction on, build momentum around, then I can make progress because I actually know what I'm dealing with. Otherwise, my mind plays tricks on me. I fool myself. I think that I'm doing something. I think that I'm doing it enough. I think that I am. I tell myself that uh, I can weave a story about what is going on. And the fact is, tracking just helps us connect the dots. It helps us to be honest. And, what better relationship with ourselves can we model is that honesty with ourselves. And that, of course, will ripple out into our other relationships as well, that we can have that honesty, that consistency in our relationships with self, with others, with food, with water, with money, with whatever it is you want. So that is today's assignment is spend even, 5 minutes investigating or Googling or trying out some different tracking methods that would work for you. I've seen people do it on an app. I've seen people do it on spreadsheets. I've seen people do it on paper, put it on the refrigerator. Like when you were a kid and you got a star each time that you made your bed or whatever it was. You can do the same thing. We're not that different, right? We're not that different from that little kid who enjoyed that reward, that visual tracking device. So that is your assignment. As you continue to drink water, continue to see how it works for you, what time of day, doing all the things like we talked about yesterday with building habits. And then now starting to integrate a tracking device, whatever that looks like for you. I'd love to hear what works. Because we're all different in how we learn and how we get excited, inspired. There's all these different personality tests, right? I think those are fun. And within those personalities, obviously there are ways that something like tracking would show up for you differently. So there's not a one size fits all with tracking. I just would love for you to track because that will definitely, that's how you see change. That's how you can, when you track for a week that you have gotten consistent water intake, then You can make some deductions. Then you can make some honest choices. Then you can have those celebrations from that place of full transparency. And you can also make adaptations. You can make some tweaks. You can see what is not working. So, trekking, my friend. Wishing you well. Enjoy, have fun with it. Please share. And anything that you share, then I will send out in the email tomorrow so that others get the benefit of what is working for you. Yahoo!